Jim Evering, you don't want to grow a little?
I'm already there.
Okay, who wants to grow a lot? Okay, good. Thank you, Jim. Okay, so this morning, I get up at like 5:30, 6 o'clock. As soon as the dog starts to cry and make me think it needs to go out, which it doesn't, just wants to get me up. But I get up, so I was up this morning around 5:45, 5:50, something like that. And I went and got the dogs and I went for a walk. And the moment I literally get the dogs out of their kennel, into their leashes, and out the door before I have a lot of chance to think, because I want my day to be about jumping into the world. So I walk out the door, and someone has parked their car right by the driveway with a big tire in the back, and on the tire it says, "Life is good." Right? And I was like, and I'm sort of awake, and I was like, oh, it is, right. I've got 2 dogs. And I'm walking, and I'm walking, and I'm walking, and I'm thinking about, and especially Sundays, I love to get up and go over everything I want to talk about, or find out, is there something else that wants to be brought up today? So that was the first one, life is good. So then I'm walking along the LA River walk, which has been redone in our neighborhood. It's gorgeous. And the rocks and all have dedications on them. And I saw one that I hadn't seen before, and it said this: "Get up and get out. The day is bursting with moments." Right? So get up and get out. The day is bursting with moments. So I didn't have a pen and paper or my computer with me, so I took out my phone. And since I don't normally use it this way, I just thought you just had to push the little button for Siri and then give it something to remember. So I push the little button and it comes on. I see the little line and I go, "Get up and get out. The day is bursting with moments." And I'm thinking, I'm done now, right? And then I hear Siri, "That may be beyond my abilities at the moment." Which is a little scary at 6 a.m. when something talks back to you. I thought I had just notated, then I had to go find notes, but think about this. Get up and get out. The day is bursting with moments. That may be beyond my abilities at the moment. How many of you have ever felt like it's beyond your ability at the moment to see these great things, right? So I was like, oh my God, this is what the entire talk is about. I'm going to get up here and talk about new beginnings, and it's very possible that the congregation is sitting, how do we get to new beginnings? It is beyond my capability at the moment to think of new beginnings. So, so the question is it beyond your ability to see your life as new? To really see the possibility of your life being brand new? Not even better or improved, not like stepping up one ring to the next part of your life, but to see, couldn't resist, but to see your life as new, brand new. None of this matters. None of all the things you think matter. Just to see it as brand new. So the title of my talk today is, What's New? What's new? So someone comes up to you and they say, and how many times have you heard someone come up to you and just go, "Hey, what's new?" What do you say? What do you say? Diane, what do you say? If I say to you, "Diane, what's new?"
Living life in the present.
So I've hit a spiritual person. She's clearly not someone I just stop at Starbucks and say, "What's new?" Living life in the present. And I am God, by the way. Yeah. So let me try someone who, what's new? Yeah. What's your name?
I'm Desiree.
Desiree, what's new?
I just moved to Dos Santos, so I'm in a new place, new family, and I'm embracing everything. And so beautiful.
Did you all hear that? Yeah. New place, new family. Her voice travels, which is good. And she's embracing everything. Apparently, I can't do bad in picking somebody. So, oh, I love that. You raise it. So what's new, Anthony? Nothing. Okay, that's... And I know that's not true, but thank you, because that's what I was looking for. So very often when somebody says what's new, you get things like, nothing much. Same old, same old. How many of you have ever said same old, same old? Yeah, stop doing that. Because that just means you've already decided nothing's new. So it's really about paying attention to your mind and the way you use it. What do you really say when it's what's new in your life? When I walked out the door this morning, I wasn't expecting to see that car with the sign that said life is good, but I believe the universe is talking to me at all moments. It's a beautiful book by Eric Butterworth. The universe is calling. And by the end of it, he says, don't send it to voicemail. Pick it up, answer it when the universe calls. The universe calls in moments like that with life is good. The universe calls when a rock says, it's a great day, go out and live it. It's the universe calling when Siri says, I'm not able to do that right now, and remind me that there are moments when I make that decision. And there are moments when you make that decision. So nothing much, same old, same old. I love Margaret's lyric. It's right at the end of the verse when she says, and when your face hits the dirt. Oh, you could have left that up, that beautiful picture. Can you go back to that?
I certainly can.
Oh, it's you. Oh, do you have to go through all these candles now? There it is. So, when your face hits the dirt, grow some roots. It's grow some. Grow some roots and maybe grow a little. When your face hits the dirt, it's not grow some roots? I like grow. So, plant some roots and grow a little. Because somewhere along this, I thought you were really trying to say grow, But no. Okay. When your face hits the dirt, plant some roots and maybe grow a little. So it's interesting because we think of growing as not planting roots. We actually think of growing as like going somewhere, doing something, changing it up. This isn't about changing it up. I love her lyric, the idea of growing some roots, because planting some roots. Planting roots, because the truth is, everything you're going to grow, every new thing, every aspect of your life that is going to move forward comes from a deep planted understanding that you are God. You're nothing else. You're not all of this. You're not all of that. You are all of it. That's who you truly are. And when you plant that in the life spring of your being and then move it out, you are not just growing a little, you're growing a lot. And by the way, that's how everything gets to be new again. Because even as you sat here, scientifically, the air in here has changed. The molecules have shifted. Nothing is as it was since you walked in. That's what life is like. That's what true beingness is. Understanding that you are consistently growing. This is a new moment. This is a new moment. This is a new moment. It's just moment after moment after moment. And yet we tend to sometimes get stuck in a moment and not realize we're still moving. We are still moving. So Yogananda wrote this: growth is the ability to let reality be new in every moment. Growth is the ability to let reality be new in every moment. And I want to use the word there, the ability. You have the ability to let every single moment be new, no matter what. And that's when you grow. That's when you expand. That's when you move forward. So let me ask you this, as we look at these beautiful love only, forgive everything, remember who you are. Forgive everything. People have a hard time with this sometimes. But guess what? Every time you have an unforgiveness, something that you have not forgiven in your life, you're holding on to a grudge, whatever it is, you've just gone against this very idea because you're literally holding on to something. And as he says, growth is the ability to let reality be new in every moment. What if every moment we were able to literally look at everything in our life with a new pair of eyes and not hold on to our old ideas, not hold on to anything that we used to think, but that we're willing, really willing to stand in the newness of who I am? How would that feel? What would it feel like? Well, that's what this month is going to be about. Are taking the initiative to see with new eyes, to hear with new ears, to understand with a bigger heart. So Ernest Holmes, I don't generally read a lot. I do a lot of Ernest Holmes quotes, but This is a lot. I found a readings of his that I really wanted to break apart today. So here's the first part of it. He says, we are continuously living a new life. And when the old and the new do not fit nicely together, the old, being no longer able to contain the new, should be discarded. We are continuously living a new life, and when the old and the new do not fit nicely together, the old, being no longer able to contain the new, should be discarded. Here's the thing about the old. It cannot contain the new. So if you consistently stay in the old, what are you avoiding? And here's the new, exactly. And here's the thing. There's a comfort. There's a big comfort in being in the old, isn't there? I mean, look at what we have just done. We have taken two centers that have been here for a very long time and asked you to come together. That can be uncomfortable. And yet, it's the new. It is the new idea of this. If we tried to stay here, if we tried to bring all the old together and create the two olds living together, that would not work so much. And I think we do that in our lives quite often. We stay with all the old and expect the new to show up. It's like we just wear the same old clothes and hope that new people see us so it looks new. How many of you do that? I think you should have a new outfit for every day. Or that you get really good at mixing and matching. So it never looks the same. I've never worn this shirt with these pants. That's the truth. And never will again. So we are continuously living a new life when the old and the new do not fit together. So what I'd ask you to do this month is to start paying attention. Look at the old you. Look at all the old stuff of your life. And I don't mean just your things. I mean your beliefs, your ideology, the way you live, your relationships. Look at all the old. And by the way, it's old if it was a minute ago. So be willing to really look at your whole life and say, how much of this do I really want? How much of this still works for me? How much of this still serves me? Because if it doesn't, I want the new. And that doesn't mean I'm just going to change it up. It means I'm going to take myself into a new sense of consciousness that allows me to see something bigger, something that I feel better about, something that lives me at a deeper level. He goes on to say, continually, we must expect new revelations of old truths. New revelations of old truth. We should never lose sight of the fact that the soul is on the pathway of an endless and ever-expanding experience, and that only by expansion can it evolve. Continually, we must expect new revelations of old truths. This science, at this point, while it is only, 80, 90 years old, is still an old truth. And there need to be new revelations about it. And Ernest Holmes is deceased. So to think that new is not going to come out of the old would be a fallacy. It would be not doing him and his work the respect and not giving him the respect he deserves, especially from a man who said, if you're still studying this in 50 years, you missed my point. So it's up to us to really take the tenets of religious science, which, by the way, is all religions combined together, and expand them, improve on them, grow with them as they grow. And that's what I want this center to be all about. And that's why my classes are so deep, let's say that. It's why I am. I'm not the easiest teacher in the world because I call everybody on their stuff. But here's the good stuff. Here's the good stuff. I tend to attract students who also call me on my stuff as the teacher. Not a lot of students feel comfortable doing that to these guys do, but not a lot of students feel comfortable saying to a teacher, I don't buy that. That doesn't work for me. Because most teachers will turn around and say, well, this is what it is. I don't say this is what it is. If any of the students say to me, this doesn't work for me, it also doesn't make sense, I instinctively and immediately start asking myself, okay, how can I look at this differently? They're looking at it differently. How do I look at it differently? That's who we have to be. So in order to step into the new, we have to be willing, able and willing to literally question everything. To not just live in a comfortable sense of, oh, everything's okay. Because you aren't born to be okay. You aren't even born to just be good. You were born to be the perfection, the breadth and depth of all that God is, you were born to express and be. That's who you are. So comfortable doesn't come into the equation there. When I'm comfortable with something, I know that there's something more to know. So moving on, he says, this does not mean that we should cast away any good the old has to offer, but that we convert it into a greater good. So that doesn't mean that your life up to this point, is anybody here think that their life up to this point has not amounted to much? Like you're going to raise your hand. If you're sitting here and you think that somehow your life hasn't added up too much, let me just disabuse you of that idea and tell you you're wrong. Because if you're here, you're valuable. If you're here, everything you have done is valid. Even the bad stuff, even the stuff that you'd like to change, it's all valid. It brings you to who you are in this moment. And you're in this room, which means that you are listening and you are ready to do something new. So all of that just means you're ready for more. How many here are ready for more? Yeah. How many of you are ready for the good to actually get better? Is there anybody here who's sitting here saying, everything I have is, I want nothing better than this. I don't want anything better in my life? Good, you're in the right place. So our job is to convert into a greater good. That's our job. How do we do that, you may ask? Well, let me tell you how you do that. Spiritual practice. Truthfully, whatever it is, even if it's just getting up and walking your dogs when the sun comes up. Because I guess what? Thank you. That's the woman working with the pet ministry. Because, you may wake up in the morning and suddenly the universe starts talking to you, or your phone starts talking to you. That's the way it works. So he goes on to say, accept the lessons and experiences of the past. Accept the lessons and experiences of the past. How many of you have experiences from the past, have lessons from the past that you still need to work on accepting? Right? Get over it. No. But really, we have to get over it. We have to get over it in order to be in the new. And I know we all have them. We all have things that we have to work on accepting. All the stuff in our lives. I was going to say stuff, and then I was worried I was going to really say it. We have to get rid of all of that, but not fight it to the ground, not kill it. Not like, because what you resist persists. Not like really get into a hassle with it. Just accept it and go, oh, well, I just connected to someone that I dated back in 1984 on Facebook. And he was, at the time, we were both very crazy, New York City guys. But he wanted to be a psychologist. And some in my mind, I was like, Facebook, I love Facebook. Let me see if this guy ever became a psychologist. Well, in fact, he did, a very successful one, and a Buddhist. And he's actually a monk of some sorts, and he's got this big spiritual path. And so I wrote him, and I said, wow, I love everything I'm seeing. Then he wrote me back. He said, I went on your website. How did you ever turn into who you are? I took a deep breath. And I wrote him back and I went, I know, right? When you really think of me at the age of whatever that age was. But that's what happens. And by the way, that person that I was, that A personality that was like, come hell or high water, I will be a star, it doesn't matter what it takes. I love that guy. It's not who I am now, but there's a part of me still here. And I get it. I have to accept that. I have to love all of that. That's what he's talking about here. Accepting the lessons and experience of the past, taking the best out of that, we should boldly press forward. At the end of this, he says, there is no limit to the possibility inherent in all men and women. Let the timid soul put its complete trust in good and press bravely on. Let the timid soul put its complete trust in good and bravely move on. Now, you may say to yourself, well, I'm not a timid soul. Because when I read this, I was like, yeah, I would never, timid's not a word I would use for me. But then I thought about it. And I think every one of us, there's a timidity to our soul. Every single one of us, no matter how amazing you think you are, and no matter how amazing you know you are, I still think there is a little bit in us, which is why we're all still sitting in rooms like this, trying to get in touch with the truth of who we are. Because there's still a little timidity saying, I'm not really, can I really be all of that? That guy up there says, I'm God. I love hearing it. Sounds good on a Sunday in the morning. But by brunch, I know who I really am. I am a part of God. And I get it. I totally get it. We are on this journey, this paradigm, jumping. We are going over the cliff. We are diving into that truth, the I am God truth. So there is a little bit of timidity in our soul. But that's not who you are. That's not who you are. That's who you have been brought to be from all of time and eternity. All of the collective consciousness of the universe has brought us to this moment in time when there is this little nudge saying, do you know who you are? Do you really know who you are? Not your name, not what you do. When I say what's new, I don't mean what are you doing? What's happened in your world that's new? What's new in your mind? Can you have a new image of yourself? Can you have a new understanding of what life is? Can you have a new understanding of where you fit in life? Can you have a new awareness, a new drive, a new passion that will take you out into the world and do things you've never even thought possible before? I've watched so many of my friends take risks, take jobs that they didn't ever think they could ever do, and just go after it and do it. We wait so long sometimes to make sure it's safe. And what I believe is God is inside of us saying, it is safe, jump. It is safe, take the leap. It is safe, really decide to know who you are at such a high level that everything and anything is possible. That's who you are, that's who I am. And that's a new idea. And it's a new idea every day. And it's a new idea that every day you must start with. Start your day by knowing that. Don't let the things that go on in your day tell you otherwise. You tell yourself at the start of the day, here's who I am. I know who I am. Everything I choose to do today goes my way. I am successful. I am powerful. I am strong. Knowing who you are and then living your day and not giving in when something says something different. How many of you have had moments in your life where the world's telling you something different from that? We've all had it. Well, it is time for us to have a new outlook on life, to take a new direction, and to say to ourselves, I know who I am, I know what I'm here to do, I know who I'm here to be, and I am going to live my life to the fullest from this moment forward. New moment after new moment after new moment. That's who we are, that's who we get to be, and you've got an entire month to play around with this. Jump in the water, test the waters, see what it feels like. Talk to Siri. And when Siri says to you, I don't know if I have the capability of that, throw your phone on the ground. Crash it. And you say, too bad, because I do. Namaste. Thank you.